So let's take a moment to discuss the mid-continental rift and the Keweenan sequence that results. Now, hopefully you noticed I said the word rift. I did not say the word orogeny. So since I said the word rift, should we expect a full cycle of the Wilson cycle? Hopefully you said no, right? We are going to stop at the opening phase. A rift is opening. So let's take a look at how a rift forms and then see how that relates to the Keweenan sequence. So remember, a rift. Okay? So here we're going to have a full continent. And that full continent's going to start to break into two pieces, right? Because remember, we've got convection down here that's pulling it apart. So as it starts to break into two pieces, do you think that it's just going to break straight down and we're going to get this big cliff that goes down to the bottom of the earth? Hopefully you said no, right? Remember, the earth is round. So what we're actually going to get here is we're going to get a break. We're going to get a tensional crack. So what we're going to see is it's going to start to break open like that. And it's just going to continue to get deeper and deeper. So initially, right, what we've created here, let's say we're at this stage. So initially, what we've created, right, as it starts to crack open, is a low spot. Now we should know this, living in coastal Louisiana. What flows into low spots? Hopefully you said water. So we're going to start to get water to collect either in rivers or lakes, right, in this low spot. So we should expect to see what kind of rocks? Hopefully you said sedimentary. Right? Think about our river rocks. Think about what we learned before. Our conglomerates, sandstones, things like that. Now eventually what's going to happen is this is going to continue to break up until we hit the bottom of the lithosphere. So let's say here we are at that stage. We have hit the bottom of the lithosphere. So what's going to happen now when we hit the bottom of the lithosphere? Well, hopefully you remember when we talked about our ocean floor, right? This asthenosphere is going to come up and start to fill in this gap and create that ophiolite sequence, right? So remember, what was the ophiolite sequence made up of? Hopefully you remembered it was igneous rock, right? Lava. So now let's take this and see, let's take a look what we see in the Keweenan sequence. We see three types of rocks in the Keweenan sequence. The first is a sandstone. The second is a conglomerate. Let's talk about these for a second. Sandstone and conglomerates. What rock types are these? Hopefully you're thinking sedimentary. If you did, that was correct. So, the sedimentary rocks, both of these, this is what we see in the beginning stages of the rift, right? Where we saw it open up but not all the way down to the base of the lithosphere. Now, the third rocks that we see is basalt, lava flows. So, where do we see basalt lava flows? In the end part of the rift, right? When it is completely open up and we start to get that ophiolite sequence. Now, what's actually really interesting with the Keweenan sequence here, so when it started to open up and we started to get those lava flows, this lava flow had a lot of copper in it. That copper ended up acting like a super glue. So no matter how hard these continents were trying to pull apart from each other, they couldn't break that super glue there. So what we have now is a weak spot in the continental lithosphere, right? So this is what we call a failed rift. It never continued to open. However, this is still a weak spot. So we still see earthquakes that occur along the mid-continental rift. So hopefully now you understand why we see these three rocks in the Keweenan sequence.